Welcome to the Flag Bearer channel. This is Little Known Black History Facts. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Fritz Pollard, black pioneer who broke through football's racial line of scrimmage. It was 1920, and professional football was still in its infancy, a rugged sport dominated by towering men and an unspoken rule of exclusion. At 5'9" and barely 165 pounds, Fritz Pollard was an unlikely figure to command attention. But it wasn't just his size that set him apart. He was a black man, the first to play in what would become the National Football League. It was the early 20th century, and the world of football, like much of America, was segregated by invisible yet unrelenting barriers of race. Yet here was Pollard, the son of a former slave, defying expectations and prejudice alike. His story wasn't just about touchdowns and championships. It was about breaking through walls that seemed insurmountable. Frederick Douglass Fritz Pollard was born January 27, 1894, and was raised in Chicago, Illinois. He was the seventh of 8 children born to John and Catherine Hughes Pollard. The Pollards were the first black family to settle in the Rogers Park Village near Chicago in 1886. The Pollard House was, and still is today, located on 1928 West Lunt Avenue in what is now the Rogers Park neighborhood in Chicago. It was at the Lunt Avenue home that the Pollards raised their 8 children, many of whom went on to have distinguished and pioneering careers. John had moved his family there from Missouri, seeking to escape the racist Jim Crow laws of the South and to have a better chance of opportunities. Both of Fritz's parents were successful entrepreneurs. John Pollard was a Civil War veteran and owned a barbershop in Evanston, Illinois. John's wife Amanda ran a thriving dressmaking business with clients such as Marshall Field's department store. Fritz Pollard and his siblings were a family destined to succeed. His eldest sister, Artissima, graduated from Brown University and was the first black registered nurse in Illinois. His sister, Naomi, was the first black female graduate of Northwestern University. His brother, Luther, was a film producer and later an advertising executive, and his brother, Hughes, was a well-known jazz musician. His brother Leslie was a star athlete who played football at Dartmouth and ultimately became a coach and a sports writer. Fritz attended Lane Tech High School in Chicago, where he became a 3-sport elite athlete. Fritz excelled as a running back in football, a 3-time Cook County track champion, and a talented baseball player. Upon graduation, for a short time he played college football for Harvard, Northwestern, and Dartmouth universities before receiving a scholarship from the Rockefeller family to play football for Brown University in 1915. Fritz Pollard went on to play football for Brown University, where he was known as the Human Torpedo. Playing halfback, in 1916 he almost single-handedly beat both Yale and Harvard in the same week. Despite racist barriers, Pollard led Brown University to the 1916 Rose Bowl game. He was the first black athlete to compete in this prestigious game and the second to receive All-American honors in college football. Once Pollard left Brown, he briefly pursued a degree in dentistry and worked as a director for the Army YMCA. After his military service in World War I, Pollard became head football coach at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania and began playing professional football for Akron in the informal Ohio League in 1919. Fritz Pollard signed with the Akron Pros. In 1920, the Pros joined the newly founded American Professional Football Association, which later became the National Football League. Pollard was the star player for the Akron Pros, leading them to the first national championship in the history of professional football. As a professional football player, Pollard immediately earned a place in pro football history as one of the only 2 African Americans in the new league. Pollard became the first African American head coach in NFL history, coaching Akron until 1926. Pollard also facilitated integration into the NFL by recruiting other African American players. Although he was among the highest paid athletes of any color and the most feared running back in the league, He had to change into his uniform in the owner's cigar store and forego team warm-ups so that he could enter the field right at the kickoff, avoiding any violence from spectators. Pollard was the first black player coach in the league and the first black head coach. It would be 63 years before another black head coach was hired by an NFL franchise. From 1926 to 1946, black athletes were unceremoniously eliminated from the league. Pollard established an all-black barnstorming team that played throughout the country. In 1928, Pollard organized and coached an all-African-American professional football team called the Chicago Blackhawks. The team played against white teams around Chicago, but experienced most of their success by playing exhibition games against teams on the West Coast during the winter months. Fritz was the team's quarterback, running back, coach, and owner. Due to poor attendance and the country's economic situation, the team played most of its games on the road and disbanded 3 years later. He later founded the Brown Bombers, but the Depression era ended the Brown Bombers' run in 1938, and Pollard went on to other ventures. He started his own newspaper called the New York Independent News, formed a talent agency, a tax consultancy business, an investment firm, and a coal delivery company. Fritz Pollard remained a vocal advocate of integration into the NFL, mainly through his newspaper, but his on-field association with professional football as a player and coach, which had dated back to 1919, came to an end. Pollard's presence in the NFL challenged racial stereotypes and paved the way for future generations of black players and coaches. Despite his talent, he faced significant racism, including being barred from hotels and trains used by white teammates and enduring hostile crowds. Pollard was the first African American from Brown University to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1954. He passed away in 1986 and was inducted posthumously into the Professional Football Hall of Fame in 2005. Fritz Pollard is celebrated as a pioneer who not only excelled on the field, but also fought for the inclusion of African Americans in professional sports during a time of systematic racism. Fritz Pollard's legacy endures as a symbol of perseverance, talent, and progress in American sports history. Until next time, if you like little-known history facts as I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Press the bell to be notified of future uploads. Thank you for watching.